Yay! Welcome back to the Dricks pod where we review weekly nonsense. This is part 2 in what has been, up to this point, quite an interesting episode. And I hope that it has been an interesting episode to you as much as it has been to us. Yay! So, guys, we left it off talking about Lauryn Hill and a few other things, but now things are about to get a bit more serious. More serious than the things that Rigathi Gachagua has been saying. But that's political.
Yeah.
But that's a story for another time. So, last week, there was reports of a young man, a model, who was in the University of Eldoret. He goes by the name of Edwin Chiloba. Chiloba is a nickname. So, he was found murdered and put in a box and stuffed in a box. And the thing that, because a lot of murders have been happening, but the thing that stood out about this murder specifically was that this young man, this model, was an LGBTQ activist, and it brought on a lot of outcries from the LGBTQ community, saying, because we had not gotten the full reports of why he was murdered, how the murder occurred.
Yes.
So the first assumption was that he had been murdered because of his sexual orientation, and that was up until the just a few days later, the reports finally started coming in of what really happened, and it turned out that it had been his boyfriend that had committed the dreadful act of murdering this young man. And so then the tables then turned on the LGBTQ community, because whilst they were taking their time, they were bashing Kenyans, they were bashing people that are straight for continuously committing these heinous crimes against the people of the LGBTQ community, constantly persecuting the people of the LGBTQ community. And then now that it was discovered that, oh no, it was the boyfriend that killed him because of allegations of cheating and whatnot, the Kenyans on Twitter, because we are people that act very quickly, turned on the LGBTQ community, saying, you are killing yourselves, you're killing one another, and then accusing us of these heinous crimes. It's out there in the media, not just local media, but international media as well. We had been receiving a lot of criticism. And so, now the KOT turned on the community. They were bashing them. There was a lot of roasting going on, words that cannot be repeated, on this platform. So I just wanted to, and whilst the murder it was sad, it was bad, because I'm an artist myself, or at least I consider myself an artist, and so I mourn the loss of any artist. I think that artists are very important in a society. So whilst I mourn the loss of an artist, I am also, as a person that is straight, I also took a lot of offense towards, that thing where we are being accused of, killing this young man. It was, straight people are evil and all these things. So I just wanted to get you guys' opinions on this thing, because, and whilst people might listen to this discussion and just say, oh yeah, you're just a bunch of straight people talking about LGBTQ matters, it's not just about that. Sometimes it's just about getting the conversation started, and I think that's very important. So, what do you guys think on this whole issue?
First, I'll RIP to Chiloba. In all honesty, no one would really want anyone to die. In all honesty,
and stuffed in a box.
So to his family and those who love him, we send our condolences. This is actually an interesting topic, in consideration that this seems to be something going on around not only this country but in other developed countries. Mm-hmm. And you've noticed this, the Colorado shooting, it was quite simple. The View being one of the biggest broadcasts channels, and I remember a similar case whereby they were bashing people, Christians, and bashing people who are anti, calling them homophobic and bigots. But the guy who shot the guys was actually non-binary. Those who believe I'm not this or that, where do they fall under? Not under the other side. They fall under more towards the LGBTQ. And now we come back. Let's come to Chiloba. Let's look at the extreme side of the murder. And it makes you question many things. And so we have a trend whereby people people just want to jump and keyboard, run to their phones, run to their laptops, run to their tabs, and just be keyboard warriors. They are putting the facts. You see, at first it was a one-sided affair. But when the facts are put at hand, that's when the tables turn. And I personally am straight, and I I don't care if I get cancelled for this, but my opinion is quite simple. I do not condone it. I respect you as a human being, but we never condone the act. I don't care. But at the end of the day, how I choose to look at it is quite simple. This LGBT community will always run and say, you people do this, you people do that, you people do that. It's always running and running and running. But when the facts are played and when the reality is put on them, everybody's saying, I know, we don't know that. We don't. It's quite clear. It's not me. Just go to any content and where you have one who's a representative of LGBTQ, put a straight person, put them in a straight debate, watch for yourself. It's not something I'm accused. It's something that's there, it's out there in every country, every opportunity given. So it's quite sad to see the extreme. If I got it right, I do believe one of them had a family. That should be either the other guy,
the guy,
the one who took his life, right? Murder, yeah. So you let's look at it. So I mean, before you explain the third leg, ideally, he had a family. He had a family to commit to, as opposed to commit to. So this was his side menu. I'm sorry, it was a side dish. And when you think about it, that wasn't the main person. Why was he not doing it? Why was he not getting out of the closet? He was ashamed of the act. Now let's look at the extremes. Maybe, hey, again, these are just thoughts. Maybe person one, maybe the late had said, you know what, homie? If you do not say what we're doing behind the closet, I'm writing it out. And maybe the guy looked at all the math, and since we are not a country that has accepted, nor that we hope we ever do, and that moment made him look at the extreme. Sometimes I always say this. When you're looking at a crime, look at the extreme. The extreme gives you a vision of what really entailed. So when you look at how far this murder went, it's sad. It's sad. We do not wish death upon any, and we need to make that very clear. For anyone in the LGBT community, nobody wishes you death. We are not God. Sodom and Gomorrah happened. We are not the one who released it. That's God. It's between you and your beef with God. We don't get involved. What we do not condone is the act being pushed to our throats. So what happened between Chiloba and Jackton, right?
Who?
Jackton.
Jackton.
So we were not familiar to that. We only came to know after the death. And the extreme size of murder shows you the extreme rage he had. So whatever happened, I would just say, before people jump and start acting detective, do your homework. Get the facts right. Get the evidence right. Then go to your keyboard and shut out. Yeah, that's my take.
Njeri?
My take, Miss Dani niko na maoni mengi kwa sababu I'm not really thinking it's an LGBTQ matter because everyone cheats. Kila mtu cheats. It doesn't matter who was your spouse. I think people should not be bashing at what community you represent yourself, whether it's LGBTQ or straight. People should be bashing at this guy who committed the murder because mbona wewe unajiona uko na the rights to kill someone si wewe wa kwanza umechitiwa. Tuanze bro, na mbona du namweka kwa metallic box.
But you know,
it doesn't make no sense.
The problem herein lies with, and even before, when I was reading the about the case, I even put out like on my status on my WhatsApp. I was like, before, because I was seeing a lot of people were like, oh, this is inhumane. It is. Yes, it is. And I was like, before we make conclusions, we need to get the facts right. Because I even went on to read an article called Al Jazeera and The Guardian. These are international media pages. And they were not focusing on the fact that this young man, this model, was murdered and it was inhumane. They were focusing mostly on the fact that he is a part of the LGBTQ community. And he was especially very vocal about it. He was an activist. And the fact that in Kenya, we are mostly intolerant.
Yes.
So we are people that are intolerant towards the LGBTQ community. And they were attributing that intolerance to his murder. So basically, they were basically pinning the crime on straight people or people that are anti-LGBTQ.
Okay, yeah.
Before they even had the facts. So I think that's what made people angriest.
Okay, and they do have all the rights to be. That I agree. Okay, I'm just, the whole situation is messy itself. Jumia hadi kwanza, how did they come to a conclusion? And it was me. Ungeniuliza mimi ningesema mara kwanza it's a whole conspiracy theory. They're trying to cover up some shit they did, so they're just coming up with an easy solution to, case closed. Wataki a lot of light on the story.
You watch a lot of Dave Chappelle, don't you?
No, I don't. It just seemed so, because
it was Dave Chappelle that had a skit where he was like, he was talking about Michael Jackson during the time when Michael Jackson was seemingly always in court. So like he was talking about the fact that anytime the US government had done some shit that was terrible, they needed to distract the people. And so they would call Michael Jackson and was like, Michael, I'm sorry, but we need you to do it one more time. He just needs to go to court one more time just to distract the people from the shit that the US government was doing. So, but I get what you're saying in terms of the whole, not getting the whole story.
Because if someone commits murder, you don't expect ati you're guilty tamuwa sana aende ajitoe mbele. Me, I'm still thinking like the whole situation, it hasn't had enough investigation. It's we'll take the allegations as it is. He's the murderer. What's not? But
let me I want to paint a picture for you guys, and you tell me what you would take from the picture. So, okay. So first of all, put the word LGBTQ on the board.
Okay.
And then put LGBTQ activist
on the board.
Murdered. What would be your first conclusion?
Murder or murdered?
Murdered.
LGBTQ
activist murdered. What would be your first conclusion?
Of course. Okay, bado ninaenda kwa conspiracy theory wale. They don't want a lot of light on this matter. They think this guy should be shut up. Anafaa kunyamazishwa. And of course, by the many movies I watch, the government. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Bush.
It is you.
Bush. LGBTQ activists murdered. What would be your first conclusion?
I mean, when you put LGBTQ, then you put activists. The activists shouts out, and that shouts out quite clear. I mean, the word says, "You're against us," and that's the interesting part. When you put LGBTQ, okay, it's a community, okay, yada. But when you put the word activist, it means this is pro this group. So you've taken one of us. But again, like we keep saying, like when you brought up Al Jazeera and other international media, we have a problem. And I don't know if this hit from 20-something, but we've had a problem across the board whereby we are witnessing a high level of media houses, those we looked up to, and current, whereby people are not getting the facts right. People are getting the emotions in the game. You can't just wake up and put, it's fact over feelings. But it's the other way around. It's feelings over facts now. And when you think about from feelings over facts, that's why we have a problem. And you are just trying. And when you ask the question, okay, fine, Al Jazeera or other international media, good for, okay, fine. How did you base your facts? You based your facts on a rumor. Chances are they pick something from one of our local tabloids. Actually, one of our tabloids, there's a high probability they picked it from one of the tabloids and ran with it. It's indeed the same thing we're seeing with our own media houses.
Yes.
They're picking from tabloids because they just pick anything that sounds right. And because it sounds right, everybody thinks. So again, like I said, when you put activist to the name, it shouts out that we are against. But is it really? Nobody wishes death upon anyone.
I have a saying that I would like everybody to incorporate into their lives. I say that I care more about the truth than about how the truth makes me feel. True.
Okay, yeah.
I agree.
Okay, yeah.
Meaning, I would prefer that you tell me the truth than if you lied to me and it ended up, because if you lie, it's only going to hurt you. It hurt me in the long term.
Yeah,
if you tell me the truth now, there are chances that I may make changes to my life or whatever it is that was bugging you that led you to telling me the truth.
Yeah.
So I care more about the truth than about how the truth makes me feel. And I think we, as a society, should embrace that even more.
Yeah. And
again, facts or feelings. And I hate the fact that it's coming from someone that I don't like, Ben Shapiro. He's always the one that's always saying, facts don't care about your feelings. But he's right.
Yeah.
And as much as
they don't,
he's wrong a majority of the time, on this situation, he's right.
Yeah.
And I do agree.
Yeah. And so I get the outcry from the people that are not the people that are, perhaps
the community,
non-allies of the LGBTQ community, saying, you guys accused us, you painted us out to be evil.
They have
people.
all the rights to be angry.
Yeah, I was like, despite the fact that I was mourning the loss of this person, and I was like, it's a sad occurrence, I was also low-key very relieved that was not a straight person that did the killing. I was like, oh my, thank
God, thank
Jesus
God.
Christ. It's not one of us. Jeez, thank God.
Actually, what I think that needs to be very clear to the Western media when you receive this quite clear. You come to Africa and you always assume that Africa is always killing people with the LGBTQ. Get your facts right. Actually, it's the community that kills the community. And it's not one person. It seems to be a trend all over. And so this thing of cascading and grouping everybody because we do not believe, we do not want to compromise what we believe. I think we should go back to the drawing board and be realistic. As much as we push our agendas, go back and sit with your mind and let's put the reality. All we have right now is feelings over facts instead of fact over feelings. So we are just trying to push agendas that makes us feel well. But yeah, this is Kenya, man. We don't roll like that. We don't kill one because we feel you're not part of the community. Nah, so we need to make that correct, but don't do that.
I'm also thinking.
Passe.
Oh, you can go first.
No.
Ladies first. Ha ha ha.
Gentlemen.
So I'm also thinking that I always say if you as a person you don't have manners, you're disgusting. And clearly this guy,
Jackton.
Yeah, Jackton. He's a disgusting person. Not because he belongs to the community, but because he thinks he has the right to commit murder just because his partner cheated. I'm thinking that also we have this behavior of it's okay, we are not condemning the LGBT community, but everyone seems to be putting it as a pedestal and as a way of pushing the matter. It's like racism in the States. They'll like this issue of the Little Mermaid. What was the problem with the lady being a black person? They were just cascading the matter to bring publicity to it. I'm thinking also people are taking this matter.
I'm a huge fan of things being the way they used to be. So I'm like, don't make her white now. My only issue with that was like, don't make her white now when she's been black in the past.
Yeah.
We also have we've had black princesses, Disney princesses.
Yes,
why don't you just create a newer black Disney princesses instead of making this one that used to be
there's something about originality also. But then the issue is, gonna bring a whole topic and rivalry. Oh, you're being racist. Oh, you're being blah blah blah.
Oh, you're whitewashing.
Yeah, I'm also thinking it's the same thing with the people take whatever small opportunity you get to push the matter, to bring rivalry into it, instead of looking at what has been done. What has been done is a murder. Mtu ameuliwa juu wewe na upuzi wako umeona ni wewe peke yako, you cannot be cheated. Wewe, what is wrong with you? Go get yourself checked in Madhare kwanza, alafu we can continue. That's an issue with me. We should look at things the way they are instead of labeling things and putting and shouting, screaming, bringing arguments that don't make sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whilst I completely agree with you, and then whilst we have this issue of murders and the LGBTQ community and them being bashed and then this, I will ask you guys, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I will ask that, do you think that we now need to change the laws?
Change the laws too?
In terms of the penal code on punishments for being gay, no punishment for having gay sex and whatever. Do you think that needs to change? Norris, I will start with you.
Amazing!
For me, no. Let's maintain our culture as it is. If someone feels they want to do it, they can put their third leg in another country.
Okay, but let me ask you.
Sure, ask.
Let me ask you. You've said that we need to maintain our cultures, and we previously talked about cultures and them being, and whilst we might have good cultures, we also have bad cultures. Because if you see, when you say, let's maintain our cultures, there are people that will say, yeah, we need to maintain our cultures, especially FGM. Because now you create a slippery slope, where if you say we need to maintain our cultures, people will also say, yeah, but it's part of our culture. And it's harmful. It may be dangerous. It has its own risks, as does everything.
No, it's a good argument. No, it's a very good, valid argument. And again, I think for me, down the slippery slope, I look at it from this perspective. How far off the rail do we want to go? Why would that be anti-FGM, whereby you're ripping a woman's life? You're opening a woman's freedom, vis-a-vis a scenario whereby we have a community that believes and that tends to believe that this should be the thing.
But these are I'm glad that you've brought up freedoms, because these are in a sense we have again a constitutional right to have whatever we believe in. We have a constitutional right to literally manifest whatever we believe in. You need a literal clause in the Constitution. I'm not pulling that out. No,
I accept it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's a fact. Fact.
So we have a constitutional right to manifest what we believe in, and some of those beliefs may not be what other people believe in, but as long as it's not harmful or it does not prejudice on or discriminate on the rights of others, then we have the right to enjoy it. So I will say to you, this community, they are the LGBT community, and they have the right also to be a community. They also then have the right to manifest what they believe in. And what they believe in is that, and science and studies have also shown that people are born gay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll say okay, because there's also this thing about you're in another universe and you're like in this other universe. Okay, I'll just say okay. Maybe you were born coming from
so Pauline, you were born this weekend. Okay. LGBT2, I have no beef with them.
First of all, would you consider? Okay, let me ask. Before we even go there, Njeri, you didn't tell me. Do you think we need to change the laws?
I don't really think so, because what change will it make?
People will then be able to enjoy their freedoms. People will not, like people that are of the LGBT.
Okay, let me ask. What kind of change are you asking?
Like are
we giving them the freedom they want?
No.
Or is it the punishment?
We're just taking away the punishment.
We're taking away the punishment.
Yeah, like section 162 of the penal code says that if you have, engaged in like carnal knowledge, which is basically just gay sex with a male or whatever, you are punishable by a term of 14 years in jail.
And when we take out the punishment, are we allowing gayism?
Because if you take away the punishment, you are then allowing that to happen.
Allowing gayism.
We're not allowing gay marriage.
Okay.
And first of all, there is no such thing as allowing gayism, because there is no such thing there's no punishment for being gay.
Let's put quotes on the allowing then. Put quotes on the allowing.
There's no, in this country, we don't have a punishment for being gay. We have punishment for gay sex. And that's the loophole. Laws have loopholes like that.
Of course they do.
So like, you can be gay, just don't have sex.
I don't think it will make any change, because the community will still be against them. And what scares people about coming out is the community. So even if the law will give them all the mandate and all the freedom, the community still won't, because they are still fixated on their cultures and whatnot.
Step one in justifying, people they justify violence against people of the LGBTQ community by saying it's against the law.
Okay,
so step one to maybe curbing that violence would be then to change the law, because I'm a huge stickler for the law. And I always tell people, like, if something is illegal, don't bring it to me, because I'm a huge stickler for the law. So if the law changes on smoking weed, coolio.
Fine.
Let's smoke some weed. But because the law hasn't changed, I'm not doing it,
Okay.
And so if the law changes and we are like, now instead of advocating for violence on LGBTQ persons or punishment on them, we are then incorporating them. 14 years imprisonment. If it's consensual, and if it's inconsensual, if you have if you like sodomize someone, it's 21 years.
Let me bring something up. Actually, there's, when we say slippery slope, let me just bring it. Biden signed off it signed off something within the same-sex marriage, whereby it was allowed, and then states would decide. So when you fast forward to come and realize, at some point, some like churches, for example, religious institutions, depending, would then be forced. If, for example, a member of the community approaches and say, "Hey, we want to get married," and the person says, "No," they go back and say, "But we have been allowed to." So at what point then do we draw the line? And again, let's put it very clear. Let's look at, there's one, when we put this cap in and we say, hey, if you do this is wrong, we end up putting a break, right? And when we release that gap, what happens is eventually this will not just be a community. It will be another level we will not be able to control. What do I mean?
What do you mean by control?
No worries. That's why I'm going to the control side. It's going to get into education. It's going to get into, there's a book, I don't remember, it should be a year ago, within our literature, whereby they were promoting, the same acts, for use of a better word. And it actually had moved to many schools. It's only a few people who picked it from institutions. And I think when they were reading, they realized, okay, hold up. But this book was actually distributed within the country among many institutions. And it was actually promoting boy, girl. And then you're thinking, hey. I'm of this opinion, okay? You grew up, you have feelings, you feel like, you want like, okay, you feel that when you're in a mature place in your life, fine. But where do we then draw the line from one, accepting under the penal code? I don't know if it was 65 or 162. When then do we draw the line and say, hey, we accept this? Once you tell a community, once you tell anybody, once anybody has never seen freedom, and you give freedom, and you tell them now, we've told you this is the next thing, we move to legislature. And what will start happening, we start noticing a trend whereby we'll be now, we want to be part of the government system, we want to be part of this. If, for example, you put 2 or 3 people within the community, within a structure of very key areas within the government, they will push the agenda in their own way. I'm not talking things are not happening. They're well happening in the Western countries. We are seeing how people are arguing. We are seeing drag queens going to schools where they're little children and teaching them how to drag. There's an elementary school, I'm forgetting which state, whereby the principal, the dean of students was using some interesting instruments used by some members of the community to do other acts.
Okay.
So because of that, let me
amazing censoring happening here, people.
Yeah. So because of that, I'm there thinking, I have a 3-year-old kid who's told how to use a particular lubricant to do a particular thing in a particular way because, I don't know, 3-year-old kid found they're gay. And then I start questioning, okay, where do we then draw the line? Are we seeing...
I'll have to
sure, no,
and ask her. We are people that believe in freedoms.
Sure.
We all believe here. Again, constitutionally have certain rights and certain freedoms.
We agree.
And those freedoms have a certain limit. As I've told you, if your freedoms, according to the Constitution, if your freedoms discriminate on or prejudice on the freedoms of others, then your freedoms shall be limited. So if we say, like right now, and let me play devil's advocate here, and we say, okay, let's change the laws and let's not allow gay marriage, but let's just say, okay, we're removing the punishment on gay sex, but we're not allowing gay marriage, but we're removing the punishment. You won't be punished, but you also can't marry. So then we have granted them their freedoms. That we've given them back their rights to privacy because Section 165 of the Penal Code takes away that right of privacy, and we have given them their freedom of association and all these other freedoms. And then, they start to say, okay, now we want to be in literature, in education, and we want to be in the whatever, and we want to do this and teaching children how to drag. If they start teaching children how to drag, they are then prejudicing on the rights of other people.
But how do
we have the rights to also say, we don't believe in that. Please don't teach our children that.
Yes.
But once we open that, see this.
No.
I'm thinking it's going to be a whole back and forth thing. It's always going to be a.
Once you allow one thing, and I get what you're saying, once you allow it, it's going to be a slippery slope. Yeah. But I get what you mean by that. But I'm also saying, if we are trying to end violence against these people of this community, or trying to then incorporate them into society and making sure that, the harm doesn't come to them, because again, according to our constitution, I will refer you again, we have the right to not be subjected to any form of violence, public or private.
Let me bring it back. And again, right now in our country, we do know, whether it's family or friends, we do know of people who are within the LGBT community, right?
Facts.
So let's put it from this point. We do know. We know them. They are practicing it. We are witnessing even celebrities and people are cross-dressing in broad daylight. Ideally, cross-dressing needs to be done behind the scenes. People are openly cross-dressing. People are openly saying, I'm part of the member of the LGBTQ. They are comfortable working with the rainbow and celebrating their Pride Month. No one is going against them. Tell me of one right now who has been jailed. Like Uganda, who literally jails them. In Kenya, we have it in the constitution. Yes. We had it at the court blocked. Yes. But in, let's call it a formality. we are not directly hunting.
Enforcing it.
Enforcing it. We are just watching. I prefer that 100 times over moving to the second phase and say, let's now approve of it. Because the act is happening. The act is still happening. We know about it. Okay. We've seen it. It's open in the media.
So let me give you an example. Sure. If we say, for example, now, and we let's use the example of segregation. We say there are certain places where black people are not allowed. Let's enforce that let's put that as a clause in the law right now. We say there are places where black people are not allowed. But it's a clause, it's just a clause in the constitution, whatever. Am I in the penal code? And then we say, but then we come over and say, no, but there are places where black people are not allowed, but they always go, but we don't punish them. Would you rather have it be that black people can go anywhere? Right? Would you rather have a say that black people can go anywhere they want to go and associate with whoever they want to associate freely without having a law hanging over their shoulders and whatever? Or would you rather say, okay, now it's in the law, but we're never going to enforce it? Not really. So what would you rather?
I'll be careful with rephrasing the black because I know this a little bit.
I'm just kicking me that.
No, I understand for me. I understand. My thoughts, my facts at hand, my reality check, and from what I've been able to see. And personally, I have cousins, I have close people in my life who are members of the community. I know I've worked with them. I have friends. I even have exes to an extent. I didn't even notice. Yeah. So, we throw it into the nini. Did I judge anyone? No. You know my problem. I'm not God. I have no business with you. You do you go do your stuff, whatever you're doing it. I don't care. My only issue is the rabbit hole that comes after approving that penal code. I have no issue right now where we know person X and person X are doing what they're doing. They're getting,
So you want them to have freedoms,
just, whatever. They're getting jiggy with it. It's not my problem. But my big problem is once we open this door and we say, you know what? Hey guys, you can do it. You know what's going to happen? We will not control it. And I want us
why do we want to be a society that controls other people?
No.
That's the one thing I don't.
No. It's okay.
Control
I understand.
Is a very strong word.
Let me rephrase my words. Not control. Okay.
There's no better word.
Let's use one.
There's a better word.
Give us a better word.
I don't have a better word, but
exactly.
Control is like, do these.
Okay,
that's exactly what he's saying.
Let me come from this point. Let me not make it sound harsh. Let me be nice. And let me say it like this. Instead of control, regulate. Okay, maybe that's even worse.
That's even somehow worse.
Okay, let's put it like this. We leave it because this is my biggest, my actual issue is the fact that I know the people are doing it. It's none of my business. I really don't care. My only problem is when a constitution, when a signature is approved, and that is allowed, we then will not be able to control. Or sorry, I'm sorry, again, the control keeps coming.
It's just
we'll not be able to handle, rephrasing, control to handle. Whatever will come from this, because let's look at it. When we start from the point of LGBTQ, let's break it down. We had the cross-dressers, okay? And a cross-dresser is just someone who feels like he wants to put on a thing like, weird, but okay, that works for them. Who do you know? And we have the trans, who now decides, I woke up one morning, I feel I'm a woman. Okay, cool. But the issue I have is now, okay, so you're a woman. Okay. So you go do your medical. Okay. That's okay. But what I have an issue is once we open that door,
it'll be almost impossible.
It's going to be a rabbit hole. We will not control. And what I say is, hey, before I even put that, let's look at countries that actually openly have allowed it. Let's look at the issues. Why are we witnessing a high number of trans teens killing themselves? Why are we having an issue whereby people come and realizing, hey, sounds fun, but I realize I'm messed up? Why are we having an issue where children at the age of 3 years have been forced to understand drug and all that? I have an issue because I am a protector of kids. So when I see how much if the simplest cartoon, we have to watch with them what they watch and be the first validators before they pick it. You ask yourself this question. The kids of today are not like who we were. Mm-hmm. The kids of today, they pick and they run. Mm-hmm. So my problem with the community is quite simple. I respect them as fellow humans like you and I. I respect them in whatever context we look at it. Mm-hmm. I do not advocate for any form of torture or any form of violence against anyone within the community. Mm-hmm. I am against that 100%. Mm-hmm. However, I am not comfortable with the act. And again, that's where I've come from. Is it because from a religious point of view? Well, that would be one of it. Mm-hmm. Okay. But also for me as an individual who has worked with people, who has dealt with people within their community, I'm not comfortable. Okay. So from my standpoint, I'll say this. Hey, let's leave things as they currently are. Nothing has happened. As far as we've looked at it, we've not seen any attacks on the LGBTQ. From the moment they started openly talking about it. But we've had threats. No, we've had threats. There have been. There was a girl last year that was raped and murdered for being. Let's look at. I remember that is how far. Those are the three gentlemen. I remember that case should be along. West. I do remember the case. The lady, she was open about it. She was a stud. I never forget. Yeah, she was a child who had defiled. Oh, these guys walked in. I understand. I remember that case. Mm-hmm. How far did we know about this story?
No, not much.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. So that's the same approach we approached with Chiloba and Jackton. Mm-hmm. You understand? And let's look at statistics. So statistics then guide everything else. How many of these cases are we hearing? And that's not from a point of where the media says it.
If we say that, if we start looking at how many people, how many cases are we hearing, we could also go on to the fact that if we say we got assaulted because we are gay, if we go to the police and say, I was assaulted because I'm gay, the police are going to fucking lock the people up. You see? So if the people go on and say that, like, if someone that is, in the closet or is of the LGBT community gets assaulted and go to the police and say, no, I was assaulted. Women, literally women that get raped, go to the police and report and they're told, no, you went looking for it. So I had a friend of mine that was assaulted, and she goes to the police to report, and it's a female officer at the reporting desk, and she tells the police officer, no, I got beaten, I was assaulted by these people because I was out, I was clubbing, and then I was assaulted, and then she gets told, no, but umevai, you gonna expect?
No, yeah, that's a problem we have. That's a problem.
So then if you say, let's look at the statistics of who is reporting and who isn't, the people from that community are in the closet now. They're not even going to tell the members of their family they got assaulted. How do we then expect them to go and tell the police?
That's a point.
So if we look at statistics, it's going to be a bit much.
Okay. So let me drop this. It seems I'm dropping everything this time. So drop statistics. Okay, those two are off the table. I'll just go back to this and say, personally as an individual, am I comfortable with the code with the signature being approved and say, hey, guys, we know in the closet, come out? Am I comfortable with that? In all honesty, I'm not. Mm-hmm. Why am I not comfortable? Because when I get into the nitty-gritties and the people who I know, I know people who are from the community and decided to change, either because the culture doesn't allow it. I mean, I didn't get to the nitty-gritties on their side, but I looked at it, I was like, okay. And I do respect the fact and I mean, you brought quite good examples, FGM, you brought, if I was black versus, and we witness even racism within our own restaurants, within our own country, is quite, sad. Mm-hmm. However, when I look, I don't, it's sad even using them. I think the fact that we see the act, because all this is about the act. It's not about the people. Mm-hmm. We have no issue with the people.
We have issues with the act.
We have issue with the act.
So then I would ask, and I want to get you guys' views on this. There was a report, a survey, a scientific research that was carried out by GLAAD. This is the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. Yeah. This was, I think, last year that was carried out, and they were asking people, like, how comfortable are they with putting them in a situation, like, how comfortable would you be if you learned that your doctor was gay? Or how comfortable on a scale of like 1 to 10? And how comfortable would you be if you found out your cousin was gay? Or so with that research, they then concluded that people between the ages of 18 to 34 have grown more uncomfortable with having gay people around them.
They are uncomfortable.
They are growing more uncomfortable with having like gay people. So basically what they're saying is homophobia between the ages of 18 to 34 is increasing. when they had expected that this would be the generation that would be
that's
more
surprising.
you would expect that.
Yeah.
So like people between ages 18 to 34 are getting more and more homophobic. And that's just one report. There are several other reports that I was reading and surveys that said homophobia is increasing amongst the youth when it's supposed to be decreasing. So like what would you attribute this to, Njeri?
I think I'd attribute it to how the society treats them, because the society plays a big role in how you express yourself, how you present yourself, and there's a lot of what do you call it? What do you akimaneno inapotea. There's a lot of discrimination, and I'm thinking this leads to the increase in jusi kila mtu anataka kuingililiwa hivyo, because it comes with a lot of depression, and you coming out of the closet, I wouldn't say things get easier for you. As a matter of fact, they get worse. Yeah, the society mostly. That's why Adi, when we change the law, I don't think there'd be a lot of change, because what you as a person, kama unaenda kwa station unaambia mwanamke mwenzako alafu anakuambia ni juu ya venye umevaa, unadhani just because the law accepts that ama removes the punishment there will be a change? No, there won't be a change. I think everything still goes back to the cultures that you've grown up knowing and what you believe in. Yeah, in the society.
What would you attribute the
the homophobia is simple. We are not in a place where we are actually want to accept it, and not because we don't want. And that's a good statistic. 18 to 34 is 18 to 34. That means those are people who are learned, very open, who use media. So there are things they've seen. There are things they've seen, and they're thinking, hey, hold up. And others have experienced either directly or indirectly. Like I said, for me, it's close. I have people. I mean, at the very beginning, I was, Pride, but you go do your thing. Then I'm like, nah. Yeah, you guys do your thing, but just keep your distance from me, But does that mean if you're a qualified person, I'm working with you and we're doing a project and you are a member of the community, I won't work with you? No, I will work with you. I will work with you. We will do the job. We'll get it done. Because I do not choose. Because I do not choose who I work. I do not choose. And I will never do that. That makes me, I don't know. Which way to... Yeah. We can put that under that context. So I believe, and that's I like that statistic because it gives you a picture. 18 to 34 means, unless these are people who are thinking for themselves. These are people who embrace technology. These are people who embrace changes. But if they're putting a stop to that, there are things they've seen. There are things they've experienced. There are things they have had that makes them uneasy. They are the people to decide who sits in power. So that's a good statistic for me to tell you that nobody's ready to receive that. It's like nobody's actually ready to receive that. We respect, we know, you do. We have celebrities we see. They are open cross-dressers. We're not judging them.
We're not judging.
We're just laughing. We're like, yeah, you clown, you do your stuff. But they are cross-dressers. We do know that they celebrate. People do openly put on their pride month, their rainbow. We do see the flag, but no one bothers about it. You do you. Let me put it simply. When people of a straight couple meets, you don't see them making out everywhere. Let's be honest, in the park, we don't see them touching each other everywhere, PDA. But when it comes to people from the community, yeah. So the fact that you're inside on that one, so that speaks its own. So people are not comfortable. 18 to 34 is a good number to tell you the reality check. And if 18 to 34 are not comfortable, then I believe these are people who can rise up and decide.
I would personally attribute, because one of the things that the report said was that one of the things that had attributed to this rise in this like homophobia and people growing increasingly uncomfortable, they said that was the constant preaching of hate on social media and all these things, because we have people that are always saying, no, gay people are this and gay people are that.
There's a lot of assumption that comes with the community.
There's that, but then I would also say it also goes the other way. Because you have people from the LGBTQ community that are always saying, oh, straight people are bad, or straight people are evil. Like I've told you, like straight people are evil, you're always killing us, you're always doing this. So if someone is always hearing this other person tell them, no, you're a bad person, No, you're a bad person. No, you're a bad person. You always do. If I'm always hearing you tell me that I'm a bad person, I'm not going to like you.
Okay, yes.
I'm not going to like you because if you're always saying, if someone is always being told that they are bad by someone else, these people are not going to end up liking those other people. And another thing that I'm always saying is, and I like that, I think you also said it as well, there's this stuff being pushed down your throat.
Yeah,
it's being shoved down your throat. Like you're seeing it in movies, you're seeing it in series, you're seeing it everywhere, literally everywhere. So I have a saying that the more you force something down someone's throat, the more likely they are to vomit.
Yes. Because if it was not shoved our throats, none would bother. Mm-hmm. But the reason we have an issue with it, at first, when people say they were gay, like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, cool.
No one cares.
It's like, but again, like Dave Chappelle said, like, he was saying, he was talking to another and he was like, oh yeah, I'm gay. I was like, yeah, if you're gay, nigga, you're gay, nigga.
And that's what we know. You play the third leg. You play the third leg. Continue to do that third leg. You know, that's you. That's what you chose. Mm-hmm. That you do you. Mm-hmm. But our issue is it's been shoved down our throats. Mm-hmm. That's where we have an issue. When you bring out anything and when you shove it in anyone's throat, when you take a lot of honey, you throw it up. Mm-hmm. But you love honey. When you take a lot of sugar, you throw it up. Mm-hmm. People do not hate them for being who they are. People are uneasy about their act. Mm-hmm. And when it's been shoved up your throat, at first you say, okay. Second, okay. Third, like, what the hell?
Stop.
You know, like we know, okay, we know, we did. For example, like someone saying, I'm gay. We all look at them like, yeah, we knew. And the person comes and says, but I'm gay. Yeah, we knew. So, so do we cry? Do we laugh? Whoa, so what?
What do you want us to do?
You know, and someone like, oh, yeah, you doing. We knew we knew about you, but we didn't judge you. We rolled with you. But we'll have a problem when you say, I'm gay. So don't do this, homie. We'll all leave you there and we'll bounce. Because you're like, okay, at first we were okay, we didn't bother you. We knew what you were doing. But now when you shove it to our thoughts and tell us, now because of this, you should do this, you should do this. Nobody wants to be there. In campus, we had a guy who was trans. I didn't even know the person was trans. I knew it's a lady. And a buddy of mine was crazy. He was like, damn, I like that chick. So one of the buddies of mine tells us, his name is Swat. So, person next. I'm like, no, that's a woman. No, that's a guy. and after that, my buddy went to did a follow through and we're like, okay, that was actually a guy transformed. But we didn't judge that guy. We still I even don't know what to call them at the time. But we respected how him or we respected they. And respected them. Yeah, them, they. That's how we did. We had to. And that's what we need to do. The problem is when you shove anything down anyone's throat, nobody likes it. You know, we'll vomit it. So if it's 18 to 34, and again, I always say, when we say we did a statistic, I always ask this question. Break down a statistic. Where did you go? Who are these people? Why the students? Why the work?
I'll be sure.
You know, the deeper we get into the data, the more we try. And so it's like I'm sorry to go off context. When they told us COVID, they told us 100 people are dying. 100 defines what? 100 on the road, 100 in their houses, 100 in their hospital. Define 100 for me. So that when you tell me 100 people died due to COVID, and you tell me that 20 people died at home, but 5 people died in hospital. Indirectly, you've told me hospital is safer for me to go get checked. You know what? Yeah. I'll go get checked. But you tell me 100. What's 100?
100 people died. They can deal with it.
So the step I look at my 18 to 34. What does 18 to 34 define? The problem we have and something we are picking generally everywhere in the world, we never break down the statistic into so that we can find the problem. Why is 18 to 34 uneasy? Maybe because maybe the people they went to research under were maybe from not so open-minded.
Yeah, like from
so it depends.
Conservative states.
Yeah, conservative. And again, let's remember, within the African toxins, we are conservative. We are only radical only where need be. But we always go back.
We go back to our roots.
We go back to our roots.
So I'll be sure to attach the link to that, the paper that I read from GLAD, that research paper. And I will also attach the link to the False Prophets Day because again, we're trying to foster a reading culture and all that. We're trying to educate people whilst also trying to, have important discussion. So as we conclude, I would just like to have one of the things that they were asking people on that report was like, do you consider yourself an ally or a detached supporter? I don't even know what a detached supporter means, but so Njeri, I would like to ask you, would you consider yourself an ally of the LGBTQ community or a detached supporter?
I'm an ally because I don't.
I wouldn't consider you an ally because you've also said that you don't want the penal law.
That's the question.
Yeah, you said you don't want the penal law to be changed.
But okay,
in a sense, you're not an ally. Because an ally would always push for the things that would favor the community.
Mi nikipata mtu amepigwa ati kwa sababu just because they were gay, me I'll be with you. Don't do that. I'm an ally, lakini sitakuwa ati the law should be changed, because either way the law won't make a goddamn sense. The law is just a loophole in this world for everyone.
I think the law would make a change, but that's story for another time.
I'm detached, straight up.
I detached support. You're like, do your thing, but just not with me.
You pull your third leg, you go get jiggy with it. That's you. Okay? But I will not ask. One thing I will always say is simple. You are human. I am human. You have blood. I have blood. I will respect you.
Yes.
I will not sit and watch you suffer. You will not go hungry and I would say, I won't feed you because you are this or that. No. I will feed you.
Okay.
I will sit with you. We will have a discussion. We will have coffee. We will have. What I will not be comfortable with you is the act. Don't push the act to me. Don't push the act to our kids. Don't push that. But I will live to respect you. I will work with you. So I am discharged because I do not condone, but they're humans. We are humans. Yeah, let me put it like that.
Okay. Okay. I would consider myself an ally, but I don't know. I'm also I consider myself somewhat of a conservative, because I don't like the other side, not because I don't like liberals, not because they have things I don't believe in. We have a lot in common actually, but I just don't like the constant complaining. I don't like people who complain a lot. Perhaps it's me, because I also do a lot of complaining, and we often become what we hate. So I would consider myself a conservative in some areas, and but in this particular situation, I consider myself an ally, although many people may not see me as an ally. But anyway, that is, I'm pushing for laws to be changed over here when allies are saying, nah, let's not change the laws. But anyway, we're not getting personal. We're not getting personal. It's been wonderful, chatting with you guys, Norris and Njeri. It's been wonderful. You guys have also, you've given me awesome insight. I've learned a lot from you guys, and as I've hoped that you've learned from me as well. And I'm hoping that the audience will also, pick up something from us or educate us on a few things over in the comment section, and if you guys have anything you would like us to talk about next, or a segment you would like to suggest that we do, we're here for you, and we got you guys covered. But, for now, this has been the Dricks Pod. See you next time.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for tuning into the Dricks Pod. I hope you liked it. If you didn't, well, it's nonsense. You're not supposed to in the first place. Peace.